I'm going to go to my guess. He is back from vacation. The man himself, Carl Jha. How you doing, Carl? Did you have a good break?
I had a great break. I spent about 35 days in China. I just got back yesterday,
Yeah,
and let me tell you, I had a great time.
I am
I
so jealous.
last
I
time
saw some of those pictures.
I you should go. I mean, I recommend to everybody. Even the people who are China haters, go just so you know what you're actually hating about, right? And
Yeah,
and it's I said last time, I think I was in China before the May holiday, and I said back then, I think China's economy is on the recovery mode from what I
yeah,
observed. And this time just further confirmed my conviction because I was there just before, during, and after China's national holiday. The domestic tourism is booming in China, from
easily.
big cities like Shanghai or Chongqing all the way to Xinjiang, which I spent about 2 weeks traveling through. Even in the ancient city of Kashgar, tourists everywhere, and they're spending their money. Of course, there's still some sector that's being hard hit by the burst of real estate bubble.
Yeah,
It depends on who you ask, because I have many cousins. So one of my cousin is in construction and real estate business, and he's like, "Oh man, times are bad. When you were here last time in 2019, that was the best time. Now China is at a inflection point. We could be looking at like Japan in the 90s. If this transition doesn't work, man, we're all screwed, right? And then my stockbroker cousin's like, oh, things are great. The China, the Americans are just butthurt because because they can't. Now with the rise of China, they will actually have Americans will actually have to work hard for a living. And so it really depends on who you're asking, how the economy is doing. But having said that, even though one of my cousin is bearish, other cousin is bullish, both of them have very nice lives. Both of them have very nice apartments, drive nice cars. So I mean, things looking good from an outside perspective. At least
yeah.
from my perspective. Yeah.
It's like things suck, and let me get in my great car and go to my nice apartment. No, I get that. That is awesome. No, man, I'm glad you had a good time. I saw one
Yeah.
of the pictures that I saw. You were on. Oh God, you were way up in the sky. It was on a bridge or something like that. And
Yeah,
you,
that's Raffles City's Chongqing. So for people who have traveled to Singapore, they probably already seen one of the Raffles City architecture that looks like a spaceship on top, or a train on top of high-rise building. So it's by the same company. They developed this prime estate in Chongqing, which is a junction of two rivers,
yeah,
the Yangtze River and the Jialing River. And so I was able to go to very top. They offer us a option to do the skywalk. So they actually let you hang from the railings. There's only like one railing, and you have like a hook, like a safety harness, and you
uh-huh.
hook yourself to the railing, and then you walk on the outside of the building. It's I don't know. I probably wouldn't do it again, but now I can say I have done it. I was pretty scared. I'm not gonna lie. My knuckles were white from gripping the railing the whole time. But it was amazing. It was amazing view, in
That
an
is so
amazing
cool.
city.
Is there anything that you
You
saw that you hadn't seen prior when you were in China, like new development, new, like China's building a huge dam,
know.
for example, and some of the people were
One
complaining. It
thing
was like,
I felt, it just everything got so okay. One thing I felt is that everything got super convenient for the Chinese citizens and
what
for
do you mean?
long-term resident of China, who have
Explain.
figured out the mobile payment thing, because
Oh,
for I think for the first time traveler to China, they still needed a little bit onboarding. I wish they have an information booth right at the airport. Say, okay, we'll take your phone here. You need to download this Alipay, download WeChat. You need to hook up with your foreign bank card. Here, you need to verify your identity. Just enter your passport information. Now you're ready to go. You're ready to like make mobile payment wherever you go. So I did know that. I'm Chinese. I speak Chinese. I thought I had no problem. I downloaded Alipay just before going to China. I already associated with my bank card, but when I went to pay for my SIM card at the Shanghai airport, it says suspicious activity, decline. I'm like, what? And then I realized, oh, I have to. So I had to turn on my VPN, looking up a YouTube tutorial how to work your Alipay, and it tells me, okay, you need to verify your identity. So I just put in my passport information. After that, everything worked. But still, like there's still some tricks. Like when I went to use the Shanghai or Chongqing metro station, I was doing the thing I was doing 10 years ago. So I would go to the ticketing booth, I would select my destination on the screen, on the touch screen, and you will tell me how much it will cost. And then I use my Alipay, scan it to pay the exact amount, and you will spit out a plastic card to allow me to, swipe into the metro station. So I thought it was so cool for knowing this. I was showing off to my wife. And later I met up with an expat friend of mine, Daniel Downbro in Chongqing. He's like, what are you doing, man? Like you're going it's so backwards. Here, give me your phone. And he showed me like, okay, on Alipay, there's a mini app called Metro. Just click on Metro, select your city, your current city, which is Chongqing, and then you generate a QR code. All you have to do is just hold the QR code and scan at the entrance, and then you scan the QR code again once you get off the metro. So you automatically calculate how much it will cost.
Oh,
and by the way, the cost is negligible. Like a trip around Chongqing cost me anywhere from 2 to 4 RMB, which is like 50 cents, less than 50. Yeah, it's like 50 cents US. It's nothing. And it's super convenient because once you get off the metro, well, if you don't have children, if you're traveling alone or traveling with adults, it's super easy because outside the metro station, you can find these rideshare bikes or electric scooters. You can, again, use Alipay, you scan the QR code, you'll rent to you for like $1, like a 1.5 RMB for the first hour. And it's just, then you can ride the bicycle or the e-scooter all over the city, and you just need to park at designated spots. So it's super convenient. So cool. If you have a Chinese like Google doesn't work, so you need a Chinese map app called they call the A map, which is really good. I think that now they have an English version because my wife downloaded that and she said it was much better than Google Maps. And with that map app, with the Metro rideshare app, and also e-hailing, they have so Uber got pushed out of China. They got bought out by Didi, the Chinese rideshare giant. It's super easy, man. Like just everything, like the thing about China metro big cities now is the walkability, because it has metro combination of metro, rideshare bikes, scooters, plus is the e-hailing taxis, and with the map app you can go anywhere in the metro. I mean, like anywhere very easily.
Oh, that's so cool.
Everything is walking distance. It's great. I mean, for us it's a little bit work because I took my wife, 2 kids. Our youngest is a 1 year and 3 month old family. So we have to push I have to push a big baby car. So that's one area China could improve, is the handicap accessibility. I mean, I already saw signs they're installing a lot of elevator for the skywalks and stuff. But I wish they have more, because I was pushing a big baby cart everywhere. But we made it work. It was fun. I recommend it to everyone.
That sounds very cool, man. My mom is always shocked when I tell her. I was like, yeah, I got a motorcycle to get from point A to point B. I think it was like $1.50. And she's like, really? It's like, yes. Because here, we have Grab. And Grab does everything.
Yeah.
Delivery, transport, bikes. God, man. I think they even pick up stuff and take it from point A to point B. That's pretty much everything. I'm so glad you had a good time, man. I really am.
I mean, like, talk about the point A to point B. So we have people. We needed. So we realized we needed the SD card reader when we went to Xinjiang. So our people just called ahead. They had they order the SD card reader online,
Uh,
delivered to the hotel that we're gonna stay in Xinjiang. So by the time we flew into Xinjiang Urumqi Airport,
it
check
was
into our
there.
hotel, our delivery package was waiting for us at the front desk at the hotel.
That's so
Everything was
cool.
done within a day. 1 day delivery. I mean, it's amazing.
Oh, that's so cool. So it's very integrated technologically in the way, because I've seen people order,
Yes.
what was the guy? High Speed, I something Speed. He's like a YouTuber or something. And he's in China.
Mhm.
He's like ordering stuff by drone that flies and then drops the delivery where he is. And he's like just blown away. He's like I can't believe that this is the way this country is. Um, yeah, it's very technologically integrated. No, that's amazing. That is amazing. So you were there as the whole trade war has effectively kicked back up steam with the whole.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there were a few things. Trump was doing things behind the scenes against China. China gets pissed off. China's like, okay, fair enough. You're not going to get any semiconductors, or not semiconductors. You're not going to get any rare earths. And it wasn't just rare earths. It was
Yeah.
even the processing of those rare earths. So it was not just the minerals themselves. It went to, if I'm not mistaken, like lithium, manganese. It was a few. Don't take my word for it for the
Everything,
manganese.
man. Like now,
Yeah,
now China just expanded the export control. So it's not an outright ban; it's export control. So that means
no.
anybody who need rare earth, they need to file the application to the Chinese Commerce Ministry. Please, sir, can I have some rare earth for the next 6 months? Can you approve my export license? and
And of course, China's going to say, "What do you plan to use it for?" Which is the worst part, right? What do you plan to do with these? What do you intend to do with these?
oh, we need for some F-35s and our Patriot missiles, and now
Yeah,
rejected. this is
it's like
why
not so
this is
much.
why Scott Besson this is why Scott Besson has been going off railing against China in the past few days, because they really have no options. They thought,
Right.
they real China have a full deck of cards. Like I mentioned before, China has the U.S. by the balls in the critical mineral area. There's so much copium nowadays about, oh, rare earth is not rare. It's everywhere in the Earth's crust. Well, that's fine. I mean, yeah, we know that for a long time. You know this for 10 years ago. You have been knowing this for 10 years ago. And guess what? China still control 90% of the rare earth processing. So when they dug out the rare earth from the Mountain Pass mine in California, they still ship it to China for processing. That process only have been stopped because the Trump's trade war, that they raised the tariff too high. So they just recently stopped sending the mines of the rare earth mine from California to China for processing. But still, it's really hard to break through the China's dominance in this area, because China
Mhm.
had 40 years developing the infrastructure, the supply chain,
Right.
and the
Right.
human capital. Like all the top Chinese university, like Tsinghua, Fudan, they have PhD programs for the rare earth chemistry. They graduate tens of thousands of PhDs who specialize in rare earth processing, process, how to further improve the rare earth processing.
Mhm.
Whereas in China or United States, that study of field doesn't exist anymore, because that industry doesn't exist anymore in the United States. It's been 40 years. All those people who once knew how things work, they have retired already. And they haven't been able to train a new generation to take their place. So for US to kind of kick start this whole supply chain, it's gonna take them decades. It's gonna take them
Mhm.
10 years. But U.S. government do not have that kind of attention span, to pursue a project that will last decades. All they care about is the next election cycle. So
Yeah.
this is why U.S. has known about China's dominance of the rare earth minerals, and the Congress actually have been crying about how U.S. need to develop its own rare earth supply chain for the last 10 years, and nothing was done. I mean, they did try, but not successfully. So I don't expect it to be any different this time.
So something I didn't know was like 75% of the U.S. military runs on products either from China or as a third party from China. meaning it's either directed from China or from some kind of Chinese subsidiary or some kind of process that goes through China. That number is astonishing. Like your military effectively runs off of another country's product, and you're trying to go to war with that same country. What did they expect to take place? It's like nobody thought this through.
The CEO of Raytheon actually said the decoupling is not happening. The U.S.-China decoupling is not happening because we still need to source our components and material from China. And
yes,
this is why there's a lot of bluff from Washington right now about how this is China versus the world. We're going to build a democratic alliance to contain China, and it's not happening, man. I mean, like China has been prepared since the first Trump term, since 2018, to prepare for the worst scenario, which is decoupling from the United States. Whereas Trump, did he have any plans for the fallout of a trade war? I mean, did he? Right now, China has virtually stopped purchasing soybean from the United States. That's really hurting American farmers. And guess what Trump did? He went to subsidize Milei from Argentina with another $40 billion payout, while China has switched to purchase soybean from Argentina. So United States is subsidizing essentially soybean export of Argentinian farmers to China, while China is purchasing zero American soybeans right now. This is why I was being a troll on Twitter. I say, all right, America, time to learn how to eat tofu. That's another thing. Trump's retaliation. He said, we have a trade with cooking oil. If China stops purchasing soybean, we're not gonna purchase cooking oil from you anymore. So this is interesting because the cooking oil they're talking about, the importing from China, was actually known as a gutter oil. It was a big scandal more than decades ago when a Chinese reporter went underground, undercover and expose like a lot of the small restaurants that were recycling used cooking oil to cook up food. So that those oil were known as gutter oil. So what happened later is they discovered, hey, we can. So Chinese government start to ban this. They start really tighten the food regulation on gutter oil. So what happened then? They found a new source for those gutter oil, which is to use as a low grade biodiesel. And so the gutter oil was exported then to United States. So that's the oil that Trump is threatening. He's gonna cut the importing of the gutter oil from China, but it doesn't really affect China. There's already, because China itself has a huge expansion of energy consumption. There was already some Chinese industry were pushing for the ban even before Trump called for additional tariffs, because they say, hey, we need those biodiesel ourselves. We need those. Why are we exporting them to the United States? We could retain those within our country. So again, Trump administration have very little cards to play here. That's why they've been acting very shrill right now. And now that trade war coincides with the government shutdown. So everything is going great.
You want to hear shrill?
Trump is my president. Again,
you want to hear shrill of your president? Listen to this. Trump goes nuclear with this question, and you have to think, why are you behaving this way with somebody asking your basic question?
Question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are?
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can, but don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying.
To be fair, the woman didn't say anything about Argentina balling, right? She just said, how do you feel about the fact that this is helping Argentina farmers over U.S. farmers? And again, it's ironic that the libertarian president in Argentina is getting government subsidies from the United States in order to keep the government afloat at the behest or at the detriment of American farmers. Do you know there were videos of American farmers praying to Jesus because they didn't think that the US government cared about them as a result of the policies that the Trump administration was effectively going with? And now that the government is shut down, the money that they were getting, the crumbs, up in smoke. That's real.
Yeah, I mean the neoliberalism has always been, is in practice has always been socialism for the rich and capitalism for the poor. I mean that has been always it's been practice. The Milei is supposed to be the savior, the God savior for Argentina to rescue it from its whatever policies, Peronist policies, right? To introduce sanity, economic sanity, but he at the end of the day he still need a bailout from Trump. And again, they it's never about the little people. It's never about Joe six packs in Ohio or Michigan,
or those
right?
farmers.
This is all about, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I mean, if any farmers getting a bailout, it's going to be the corporate farmers, right? Because they're ones who have the access to the Washington lobby and to the easy money. So
yeah, my heart goes out to those farmers. I felt bad for them. I mean, the notion that you're sitting in church praying to God because your government has screwed you over, and then when a basic question is effectively saying, hey, looks like you're screwing over the farmers for Argentina, he flips out. Hey, young lady, you don't know what you don't know anything about Argentinas. They're fighting for their lives. Okay, Trump. So every other country that's fighting for his life is going to get a U.S. bailout at the expense of some kind of U.S. industry. That statement is outrageous. Like, Trump got in on this notion of MAGA, make America great again. She's asking him a question based on, this looks like you're making another country great again at the expense of the U.S. And he loses it. I guess my point is, to your point, that is a desperate administration who knows they are under pressure on this very specific angle of how on earth are we going to deal with the issue of China? Because
it's totally unnecessary. Yeah. And it's totally unnecessary. This Trump's the one who initiated this trade war. China did not want this trade war. In fact, China has repeatedly said, we do not want the trade war. Trade war is bad for everybody around. But if you're going to force this on us, we're going to fight you to the end. I mean, that has been the Chinese position from the very beginning. They hold the door for negotiation open, but they refuse to be bully on the on negotiation table. Like back during the Biden administration, during the Anchorage meeting, the Chinese representative has said, United States is in no position to dictate terms to China from a position of strength. I mean, U.S. is just finding out right now.
Yeah. See, what I got out of this, I got out of the two things. A, China is effectively asserting we are a peer. Period.
Yes.
You're not going to treat us otherwise. And so when the U.S. says, okay, well, we're going to charge your ships when you go to port, China turns around, we're going to charge your ships when we go to port. We're a peer. We're equals. If you're going to pass sanctions on us, we're going to pass tariffs on you. If you're going to, basically, they are looking at this in a one-to-one, this kind of escalation ladder where they remain even and equal. I guess, do you think the U.S. is going to get the hint that, okay, we're dealing with a peer? Let me ask you another question. Do you think the U.S. already knows that? There's some people on Twitter who argue that the U.S. is withdrawing from China because it knows that it's dealing with a peer and it doesn't necessarily want to escalate to some kind of larger war. Give me your take on that.
Well, that has been my position. I mean, there's really no U.S.-China competition. That has been made clear to me with my every trip to China. There's really no U.S.-China geopolitical competition. I mean, competing in what? In providing quality of life to average citizens? I mean, China has done far better a job. And in terms of building public infrastructure, there's no competition. Right now, what they're talking about competing with China is they're talking about, all spectrum dominance. But the time for all full spectrum dominance is over. I mean, that ship has sailed. But unfortunately, a certain section of the U.S. elite is still stuck between the first and the second stage of the 5-step grieving cycle, right? They're going from denial to anger, back to denial, and back to anger again. But on the other, but some are quietly. I mean, if you look at the strategic posture, they already start to admitting, we got to pull back for the forward deployment in Western Pacific against China is not sustainable. Because we have vast distance of the Pacific to cross to try to fight China in China's neighborhood. Oh, by the way, recently China just launched their first 5th generation aircraft launch from electromagnetic catapult on their latest aircraft carrier, which is a feat. It's a first, not just for China, but for the world, because even up to today, USS 404, the most advanced nuclear-powered aircraft carrier in U.S. arsenal, still hasn't been able to launch a F-35 successfully from its electrical magnetic catapult, right? And so U.S. is already falling behind, even technologically, even in hard power. So they're gonna have to. Yeah, I mean, like as you already mentioned, when U.S. military is depending on China for supplying its parts and critical minerals, it's not realistic to fight China in a real war. Right now, we are just seeing kind of the last. How do I say? They always accuse China of trying to save face. I think United States right now trying to put a brave face on the American decline. And they're flipping out because China is not expected. China is not supposed to retaliate, right? China was just supposed to take this sitting down. But now that China has retaliated, U.S. has no countermeasures, and they are panicking because of that. That's why they're making all these bold, crazy statements about China and how they're going gung-ho. But the more shrill the sound, that means more desperate their situation have become.
Yeah, agreed. When Democrats were saying that Trump was going to shoot Kamala Harris in the face or shoot Liz Cheney, I was like, okay, you guys, something is obviously wrong. you don't go nuclear unless something is clearly wrong in this situation. And yeah, that's the way it feels. It feels like they are so over the top